Hey, fourth graders, today you're going to need some sort of whiteboard or just loose leaf paper, something to kind of sketch out some problems on. So first thing we're going to do is we got to figure out what's missing. Well, one, we know we're missing our length, but we need to figure out what our length is and what our perimeter is then. So let's think through. We know something though. We know our area. So we know our area is 24 square meters. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this out. All right. So we know our area is 24 square meters. An area we know is length. Make this a little bit smaller. Length times width. So, but we already know one of those. So we know, and this equals 24, right? Our length times our width has to equal 24. But we already know our width. So really, let's think through length times 6 equals 24. So what times 6? Think through it that way then. I am figuring out my missing part. We already know our width. We're trying to find our length. What times 6 gets us 24? Well, 4 times 6 is 24. Oh, so our length then over here has to be 4 centimeters. Now, can we use that to help us find our perimeter? Now we can. So we know the other side over here is 4 centimeters also, and it's 6 centimeters up top. How do we find perimeter again? Sure, we gotta add everything up. Remember that T tells us kind of has that plus sign look, so we gotta add them all up. So 6 plus 6 I know is 12, and 4 plus 4 is 8. So 12 plus 8 should get us 20. And we don't just want to say 20, we need our label, 20 centimeters. Awesome. All right, so that's one practice one. You try this one. This time, we know our perimeter. We know what the outside of all the sides added up should be. If we add up all the sides, it should be 62 kilometers. Okay? So if we know 11 over here, we also know 11 over here. So far we know part of our perimeter, right? We can take our whole number, that's 62, and we can subtract to use the opposite, like we did division last time. I thought through what times something, thinking about that division. We can subtract our 22 from adding our 11s together. And this would get us 40. But that doesn't make much sense that our width is 40. Oh, but we remember it's got to be between those, 40 between all of them. So what am I doing to my number here then? I'm really going to split it into 2. So 40 divided by 2 means 20. So each of these should be 20 kilometers. All right, so now we know all of those outside parts. How do we find the area? We know it should be length times width. So our length is 11 times our width of 20. I'm going to do some cool math in my head because I know this is kind of like a power of 10. So I can multiply 11 by 2 to get 22. And then just like with a power of 10, I can add in a 0 to get 220. But my label's a little different on area. I need that kilometers squared, or square kilometers. 220 kilometers squared. Awesome. All right. So that's how we kind of do those kind of problems. Now, what happens if we have a word problem? Mrs. Wells would like to buy some new carpeting for her living room and needs it. Her room is 6 yards wide, and the perimeter of her room is 60 yards. How much carpet? Oh, oops, pausing this. Instead of Christian, I copied it and I changed it to me instead. Will Mrs. Wells need to cover her entire room? All right. So this way, I would sketch it out. And what I'm going to do is actually put my problem over there. And I'm going to open up just like my notebook over here so I can see them side by side. Do a new drawing. Good. All right. So now I'm thinking through my room. Okay. It's 6 yards wide. So I know that this has to be a 6 yards. And I don't know the length at all, but I do know something else. So my imaginary living room picture, I know the perimeter is adding all the outsides. So I know that this side then is also 6 yards. It's also 6 yards. We're trying to find the perimeter, so we need to add all the sides. I gotta figure out though, what is our total perimeter? Oh yeah, it was 30 yards. But we already know part of our perimeter, don't we? We know 6 and 6, and we know that that makes 12. So I can take away from my whole perimeter to find that missing part. I need to borrow here. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So I'm left with 18 yards to use in my perimeter. But I have 2 spots left. We gotta split it in half. Oh yeah, so 18 divided by 2. Oh yeah, that's 9. So this side is 9 yards. And my picture doesn't quite match, but that's okay. 9 yards. I didn't know how long it was going to be, so I just wanted to get something to help my brain picture it. All right. So we figured out that the length is 9 yards. Is that what we wanted to do in our problem? That was part of it. We needed it to help us find how much we'll cover. Cover. It doesn't really say, but I know to cover something, it has to be all the inside part. What kind of math or what are we finding when we're finding the inside part? Yeah, we're finding the area. So what are we going to multiply to find our area? We need to do our 9 times 6. Good. 9 yards times 6 yards. And that should get us 54. Ooh, tricky part on the label here. Yards squared. So how much carpet will I need? 54 yards squared of carpet to cover my whole area of my living room. Awesome. Ooh. All right, so next up, you have this worksheet, okay? So I want you, make this full screen, I want you to work on solving the front and the back of this worksheet, okay? Then what you're going to do is the same kind of thing we just did at our practice problems, okay? More practice. So the front side, figuring out the missing length or width, and then your missing area or your missing perimeter. And then you got 4 word problems. So pause the video while you solve these and unpause, and I will go through the answers. All right, let's take a peek through your answers. You should have found 12 meters, and then the perimeter is 36 meters. 7 was our missing length, and that found us 35 yards squared. We should have known that this was a square, so our perimeter was 32 feet, and our area was 64. 8 was our missing length to find 28 millimeters. 7 was our missing width to find 18 inches. That one should just be inches. 3 was our missing length to find 20 yards squared. 21. 7 times 3 is 21. This one should have been 24 centimeters for our perimeter and 36 centimeters squared. This one should say centimeters squared. This one should have been 7 for your missing width to find 24 inches, just inches, and then 35 square inches for our area. We are missing a 4 to make 28 meters for our perimeter and 40 meters squared for our area. Then you had to solve the word problems. You should have found 34 feet for the perimeter. This one should have been 22 yards or yards squared for to cover the entire room. We had to figure out the length of the bathroom, and the perimeter is 28 feet. How many square tiles will Donna need? She will need 28 feet or 28 squares. And the perimeter should have been 28 feet for this one and 49 feet squared for the area. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, thanks for joining in practice today. Bye.